What's going on, guys? My name is Fat Bento, and today we have more information about Unreal Engine 4. I just finished watching the live stream. I have tons of notes, and it's all very exciting. Unreal Engine 4 is here, almost. Let's jump right into it. Right, so right off the bat, we are going to talk about the download for Unreal Engine 4. I was actually kind of wrong about this. I apologize. The way it seemed on the Korean server is that it was just an update that was applied to the game. But in actuality, in the West, we are getting it a different way. It's basically just another version of the game that you have to download from the NC Launcher 2. So the really exciting part is that we can download it starting today. Well, actually starting yesterday, the 1st, but it is available to download right now. It is going to be about 60 gigs. So the way you would do that is you open NC Launcher 2, and down here under the Blade and Soul tab, there's a little tab for UE3, which is the live version right now. And then you can click on it and go to the pre-download for Unreal Engine 4 and start installing it. It is going to be about the same size as the actual game is right now, but that's about 60 gigs. But unless you are planning on playing between now and September 8th, which I am, you can uninstall the Unreal Engine free version. Or if you uninstalled it a while ago, you can just pre-download the Unreal Engine 4 version. But note that you can kind of open it, but it won't connect you to the server until the actual patch day on the 8th. In addition to that, they did say there will probably be a small patch on the 8th, so look out for that. The second thing the live stream really covered is just the general overview of what, some of the things they did to the game. They really pushed the UI updates and customization. It does look cleaner, as they've been saying for a while, and you can actually choose what you want to see on your combat buff bar. For example, accessory buffs and cooldowns. There's a new tab in the menu to customize that. In addition to that, they also talked about the lighting and shading improvements. And of course, we've been talking about it for a while now, the loading time. So that's all fine and dandy. Nothing we haven't really heard before, but that's not really where the meat of this live stream was. The meat of it really was talking about the dual blader class. I personally didn't know much about it until the live stream because I haven't been really paying attention to the Korean version, but we got a lot of information and I'm going to quickly go over it with you. So dual blader class is available for Jin and Yoon only. And despite what it may seem, it's not just a blade master with another sword, Lamau. But in Brett's eyes, he says it is an easy to learn class, but challenging to master, at least for the first spec, which is called Shifting Blades. If you don't know, Shifting Blades has 3 different stances. Skyblade stance, which is the facing forward blades. Generally, it's the most damage. Both back is called the Fang Blade stance, and it does more debuffs and damage to enemies that are CC'd. And the Sky Fang stance, which is one of each direction, usually is for more utility and iframe. There is an indicator and skill color differences for each stance, which I think is pretty cool. And you're able to change stances really easily. It's your movement abilities, your left mouse button, and right mouse button. According to the live stream, the combos are pretty simple, but each stance has complexity and adds to it. They also told us about this splinter stance, which basically means at low health, you get buffs, including movement speed, lower cooldowns, and 10% crit rate, and some others based on your talents. The one thing this class doesn't have is a party buff. Doesn't have like a soul flare or a Harmoon block or anything like that. They also talked briefly about Spec 2, which I believe was called the Lotus Blade, and it's more about like fluidness and chaining attacks. Kind of like a dance is how they described it, and utilizing resources. And in their eyes, it is the simpler of the specs, but I still think it's going to be really cool. Like I said, I honestly didn't know too much about the dual blader until this live stream. And honestly, this little demonstration really made me want to switch from Warden to dual blader. But I don't think I'm going to switch my main over. As it said, my main is my main's a gone and it's only available for Jin and Yoon. but I do have a level 60 character voucher waiting, so I'm thinking I'm going to use it on my dual blader. In addition to that, they also talked about the new dungeon that's being added called the Forest of Echoes. It's in Savon Village, which is basically where you finish the story up to this point, which is Act 11, Part 1. Standard stuff, it's you get a quest letter and you'll go talk to someone and it'll let you in the dungeon. The Forest of Echoes sees the return of 4-player dungeons, which is exciting as someone who used to play when 4-player dungeons were really a thing. I really like to see it. And they did mention that the design of future dungeons is switching to 4-player dungeons. However, 6-man dungeons will still exist because the mechanics and things like that require more than 4 people, which is good. And I personally like to see the shift back to 4 players. But at this point in the game, I'm nowhere near close to be able to do this new dungeon when it comes out. So I'll be sticking with 6-mans personally for a while now. Other additional information, there's 2 mini bosses, and then the 9-tailed fox spirit is the final boss. I don't quite remember her name, but if you've played the story, you'll know who I'm talking about. So the rewards for this dungeon vary by difficulty. They also added selection chests, the dungeon, raid, and material selection chests. And that way you can get what you want out of it. They also comes with a costume, the Kumi outfit, I believe is what they called it. And I think it looks really, really good. I'll show a picture of it right now. And I think it looks really, really good. But like I was mentioning before, I'm nowhere close to be able to do this. So I'll have to wait on it for a while. They also added a new Psyche. This one specifically they mentioned for gloves and belts. And they also hinted at new belts and gloves in the near future. Speaking of selection chests, they added one more. This is the Dungeon Master Outfit Selection Chest. There's also an Elite version. The Elite version gives you a selection between other heroic dungeon boss outfits. And I believe they said the regular one gives you just other outfits. I'm not sure if they both have dungeon or heroic dungeon outfits in them, but that's pretty cool. I think it's a nice, neat way if you're missing one and you don't want to run another dungeon because you'll be running this a lot anyway, I'm sure. It's a pretty good way to get those if you want them. Next, they briefly mentioned the minimum and recommended specs for Unreal Engine 4. We already looked at this in a past video about the Unreal Engine 4 in in Korea, but I do think this is worth looking at because the specs have changed a little bit, if I remember correctly. Still pretty similar, but changed a little bit. So for minimum specs, we're talking i5 5th gen or Ryzen 5 or later. Memory 8 gigabytes, GT 736 gig or R7 240 or better, 150 gigs of storage, Windows 10 and DirectX 11. If I remember correctly, the recommended specs are a little bit higher. They're talking Intel i7 9th gen or Ryzen 7 3700 or better. 16 gigs of RAM, I think that's the same. I think the CPU is what changed. And 1660 graphics card or an RX 570. And then the same amount of disk space, OS, and DirectX. So just wanted to quickly go over it. I can't remember exactly what changed, but I do believe it is a bit different than what we saw when the Korean version went live. So just note that. The 6th thing that they covered in the live stream was Trove. Trove is coming back. It makes sense. New update, big graphics overhaul, lots of players coming back. This is a good opportunity for NCSoft to make money. And honestly, if you're thinking about spending money, Trove isn't a bad way to go about it. We're getting the usual stuff: gem, soul, heart, earring, belt, Steelbreaker soul shields. There is a new pet, the hidden silver wing, as well as costumes that matches the new pet, and also cybernetic. I will put a picture of all 3 of those on the screen right now. But honestly, Trove is Trove. We all kind of expected this. It's September. There's usually a Trove in September. And, you know, if you're going to Trove, go for it. If you're not, don't matter. So just know it's happening. All right. This is probably the best part of the live stream. We are getting another Call to Arms event. If you don't know what a Call to Arms event is, it is basically a way to upgrade any character really, really quickly to a certain point. So the way the Call to Arms event works, if you don't know, is that there are 12 chests, and each stage you open gives you the next stage of the chest, but you need to acquire the key to open it. The key is purchased with martial remnants this time, and you obtain those by doing specific daily dungeons, the daily challenge. I believe it was 4 daily challenges, the 4 weekly challenges, and that's pretty much it. The way you start it is by going and purchasing a free bundle in the Hongmoon store, but I will be sure to go over that when the patch goes live. So what we really care about is the Call to Arms event rewards, and holy moly, these are insane. So I believe they've mentioned in the free bundle that you'll get a couple gilded square gems. You know, they're not the Hongmoon versions, so they're not account bound, but you know, free free stat boost. In addition to that, we're getting the full Thornbreaker Soul Shield set, Thornbreaker 9 weapon, you know, like the second highest tier weapon in the game, the Silver Seal ring and earring at stage 1, the Amplitude necklace at stage 1, as well as the Thunder Call, Storm Siege, or Windsong bracelet at stage 1. It depends on your spec which one you'll get. And in addition to that, we're getting the Awakened True Wyvern Talisman, Unleashed Ultimate Pet Aura, True Hongmoon Heart, and the Tiger Soul. I think Tiger Soul seems a little low for this type of event, but I will be sure to double check when the patch notes go live. So that's the big event for Unreal Engine 4. And honestly, in my eyes, this is a good enough reason to just come back. It's going to be a lot of time invested to get everything from this because you have to open all 12 chests, but I think the rewards are more than worth it, and I'll do an event breakdown once it's in my hands. The second event coming with the Unreal Engine 4 update is the Soul Arena event, very similar to Tower of Infinity, but if you don't know what Tower of Infinity is, it's basically a solo dungeon where you fight progressively through the floors all the way up to floor 100, and you get a rank for your class based on the time it takes. The way you'll get it, you know, it's typical stuff, quest letter, and then a monk in Mushin's Tower, and he'll take you to the arena. So this time the arena is fighting against the Iron Conqueror, which if you don't know, is the final boss of Scion's Keep. It's only 4 rounds, but it progressively gets harder. Rankings are time-based as usual, and this time the weekly rewards are called Fearless Tokens, and if your rank is high enough, you can get some transformation stones. And as always, you spend event currency in the Hongmoon Express. The rewards are actually pretty okay. You can get a weapon cosmetic or wings, capsules, which I don't think anybody really uses unless you are high tier and really need, or like going for a record or something. Then you get sacred vials and pet packs. So this event is catered more towards the people who don't really need to do the Call to Arms event, but it will keep them playing and doing something else. And honestly, vials and pet packs are always good at any level of gear. So that's the 2 events that are coming with Unreal Engine 4. They mentioned towards the end a couple of things that are upcoming for the rest of the year after Unreal Engine 4 comes out. First thing, we've already seen the dungeon combat feedback system. I don't really get it. Hopefully they'll explain it more as time goes on, but basically it's a mechanic where our bosses can be stunned and you'll be able to do more damage. Basically telling you how well you did at playing your class in the dungeon. They're also adding a new dungeon difficulty. Right now, they're calling it the Mythic tier, but yeah, that's a working title and subject to change. I believe it is above hard mode, and I'm sure rewards will be different based on which tier you're playing, so be on the lookout for more information about that, as well as a new dungeon. They called it the Aerodrome or Aerodome or something like that. And also, we will be getting the end of Act 11. So that's always nice to see, and it's nice to kind of know what we're going to be getting after Unreal Engine 4 comes out. And finally, during the live stream, they released some codes that you are able to input into your NCSoft account. But they released 4, and 2 of them were limited, so the only 2 that are available are these 2. I will have them linked in the description, or not linked in the description, but I will have them in the description below, as well as on the screen right here. So you can just type those in your NCSoft account and be sure, and you'll be able to collect those rewards. In addition to that, they also mentioned that signing up for the newsletter will give you a bundle. And I believe it's just an outfit and some goodies, but I think the outfit looks kind of good. So if you're interested in that in your NCSoft account, you'll go sign up for their newsletter, and Blade and Soul updates or something. So that's pretty much everything they covered in the live stream. This is probably the best case scenario for the Unreal Engine 4 update. I can't believe it's here, and we're getting so many awesome events and quality of life updates and things like that that are going to make the game a lot better. I hope. I really, really hope so. I want this game to succeed, and from the looks of what we're going to get with the Unreal Engine 4, it really has the potential to do so. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. One final recommendation, if you are going to pre-download it, I would probably do it before Monday or Tuesday, just so that you're not bottlenecked by multiple people downloading it from the server. But that's the only little thing. I'm probably going to do it Monday or Tuesday, and you don't want to be downloading it when patch day comes on Wednesday. So, yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it, especially if you made it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed my content or want to see more of my Unreal Engine 4 coverage, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Maybe leave a like if you really like this video. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.